Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Michael Wilkes, Angel Ortiz, Dr. Chad, and Sam La Cavera. Go check out beardedbrowns.com and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Enjoy the show.
What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome to today's show. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Why is it heavy? Well, because you can get fired even if you lost a playoff game, even if it wasn't your fault. Even if your quarterback throws 4 interceptions, you're going to get blamed because you wear the crown. And, you know, you're the head coach, so someone needs to get blamed, not a $40 million quarterback. Why would we let him go when we could just let a coach go and let you be replaced? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Most importantly, we have a guest, my friend, my new internet friend, J.I.M.B.O from the Men Until podcast. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thank you, Angel, Mike, Chad. Appreciate y'all having me on.
We're going to have him. Well, obviously, we have him on for Grant, but we're going to talk about the year Jacksonville had this year because I don't think it's talked about enough. I think I became a Jags fan after looking some information up, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Mike, you have something that just broke about maybe a half hour ago. A former player of ours went on X and does what he does. Let's show it.
Yeah, first and foremost, I failed as a producer right off the bat because I was supposed to bring Jim in shortly, and I just kept him in. Like,
Jim's
off to a great start. But yeah, Baker Mayfield I retweeted somebody, and Orlando Ledbetter said, #Falcons. Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders closed out last season with the 7 starts. And then Baker Mayfield, as always, has a reply and says, failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text/phone call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. Brutal. Right into it, too. Like, just
Baker doing Baker things, man. He finds a little motivation to kind of, you know, I don't know, try to beat them, I guess. It is interesting because he says still waiting on a text and call from him, meaning like, why would, if he was the one to let him go or didn't support him, why would he call and text him? So I think this was a, hey, you didn't call and text me and I thought we were friends message. Or am I reading too deep into that?
Baker's like a bad ex-girlfriend.
Right. That sounds about right. So it's
I think
like,
Baker's feeling salty, like, hey, the team cut me and you didn't even like call me afterwards to like talk to me about it. And he's apparently 4 years later still thinking about it. So, but that tracks for Baker. He's a very chronic, like, chip on your shoulder seeker. He's always looking for like the next thing to motivate him, and he does it by snapping back. And then I think the way his brain works is, I'm gonna clap back at this guy, and then I really got to grind so that I can, so I can show everybody, what's up. And then, sometimes it works for him and sometimes it doesn't, which is why it was never my feature of him. I didn't hate it. Some like Cleveland media and national media like hated that. I didn't hate it. It's not my style. Like, I'm never going to be the jump out in the media. It feels like the same kind of immature like persona that got him the reputation is like still what drives him. So he needs to continue it. But it's just not my cup of tea. But he can back it up great. If he doesn't, it just becomes like, it just looks silly to me. If like they lose to the Falcons the first time around, even if Baker has a great game, it looks silly that he was talking already.
Like James just said, he said Baker will wake up feeling dangerous at least twice a year with going against Kevin, and Gregory says it's definitely a shot. I agree, guys, but Baker, he's up and down, and again, the weakest division in the league as of now. So we'll see what he's going to do to the Falcons. I think the Falcons are going to be prepared for that. I think Stefanski is going to be well prepared for that as well.
Yeah, Baker's also 3-4 against Atlanta all time against them. So I think he struggles against Atlanta. So I wouldn't be calling out Atlanta if you're going to struggle against the team. Hopefully that he has that in the back of his mind. Maybe that's what's going to help motivate him to beat Atlanta, who's going to be a better team, by the way, because I know people hate Kevin, but they have every pieces to match Kevin's system there with Kyle Pitts in London, and their offensive line's pretty decent. And depending on who's quarterback, we'll see how that works out. But the defense,
I also think this is just like it's like the misguided part of it is Kevin Stefanski didn't come out in a press conference and say, "Man, our quarterback situation was a mess every year I was there. We had a bunch of failures." Orlando Ledbetter, who's just an Atlanta beat writer, came out and said, which is typical to like not fully understand like what's been happening in Cleveland. He just came out and said like what it looks like from the outside perspective is all the quarterbacks in Cleveland failed, and Kevin had to go through so many. And then Baker's response should probably be to Orlando. Instead, it's to Kevin. It's like, oh, yeah, Kevin, I'll show you. And it's like, Kevin didn't say anything. Kevin
it's not Kevin's fault.
Come
You
out and be like, Baker was a failure. He sucked. Like, that would never happen. So it just seems funny where it's like, he is like responding to the fact that he's just salty that Kevin, like, I guess, didn't have his back enough when he got let go.
Do you guys remember that viral tweet that I made about Baker like 2 years ago, and it had over 1 million views? And that's what we should do. We just start talking crap on social media, calling people out, calling old players out that are still in the league. Do you guys do that, Jim?
Yeah. I mean, we take shots at anybody who's really taking shots at us, or you just on some just silly, dumb stuff. You feel me? Like, yeah, I don't know. I think you guys can relate to this because of, stigma of obviously not being a good team for a long time. Like, that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it's like, everybody thinks we're an easy win. We're a W. Like, they see us on the schedule. Oh, that's a win. Obviously within our own conferences, there's a level of respect because we play teams twice a year. Right. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, it's just disrespect from former players. We have analysts. I won't say their names on your podcast, but there's analysts out there that take direct shots at our quarterback, at our coaches, at our team. And, like one person actually said, I mean, they're Jacksonville. Like, that was their analysis of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're Jacksonville. And, but I mean, hey, right now we got smiles on our faces.
You indeed do. And you should have, you have a reason to, because your season was spectacular. Like I said in the beginning, it's not being talked about enough to turn around that your organization flipped from 4-13 to 13-4. And I would think you would agree the lead cause of that is the leadership in which was hired after a 3-4 season, 3-14 season. They go in and the owner takes a risk hiring Cohen, play caller, but he wanted some control at the same time. He wanted his GM in there. And I think that was a sticking point at one point. Can you get into the story of how he was hired? Because I know there was he turned it down. He was going to turn away. And then the owner kind of like, this is the way I interpret it, at least, kind of changed his mind, let go of the GM and called him back. Right.
Right. Okay. So this is the real inside story. The real inside story is he wasn't effectively hired yet, but our only Hall of Famer, Tony Baselli, was able to get the ear of our owner, Shad Khan. Shad had just fired Doug Peterson, but he retained our general manager, Trent Baalke. And it just seems like any coaching candidate that we really wanted did not want to work with Baalke. So Liam interviews. They like Liam. They want to bring Liam back for a second interview. Liam declines. and says, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay in Tampa. Tampa then turns around and offers and offers to make him the highest paid OC in the NFL if he does not take the Jacksonville job or the second interview to the Jacksonville job. And so Liam and them came to an agreement. And while this is happening, but it was verbal, nothing was signed. But Liam's like, yeah, no, I like that. Well, in the dead of night, because this is what this franchise started doing, making all these middle of the night moves, subterfuge and espionage. And Tony Bo says, listen, I really like this guy. I think this guy, Liam Cohen, I think he's what we need. But the only way we're going to get him is if we get rid of Bulky. Now, listen, I'm making those words up. I'm not saying Tony went in there and got a guy fired. But the fact of the matter is, Shad Khan then changed course, fired Bulky. Liam, like the next day, Liam's our head coach. And then, Tampa's calling him a snake, and he's not answering calls. And he said that, his kid was in the hospital, which is all true. Like, his kid was in the hospital. But at the end of the day, Liam Cohen made a decision that he felt was right, and that our owner, Shad Khan, believed in somebody who was a staple in the Jacksonville, not just for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but in the Jacksonville community, Tony Boselli, and then gave Tony Boselli an actual job as executive vice president of football operations. So he's our EVP. And then together they led the search for James Gladstone to make what my co-host Agent J calls the Brain Trust or the Jag Vengers.
Yes, that's actually a really good name, Jag Vengers. I like that. And did they Cohen and Gladstone were together in LA, right?
Yes, they both worked in the Rams with Sean McVay. Yeah.
See the connection, Chad. See the connection. Everybody likes with Snead. And this is my fear now. Okay. That organization, what do they do well, guys? They draft well, they develop well, they coach well, and they have a tree that just grows and grows and grows of coaches. All right. He literally, this is my opinion, Cohen is going to just replicate what they do in LA and Jacksonville and the AFC, and they're just going to be hard to beat in the next couple of years. That's just my hot take on it. Trust me, I spent hours in jury duty looking up stuff about Jacksonville. So I'm real keen on Jacksonville to the point where I'm like, like I said, it might be my second favorite team after this interview, but we'll see.
He was at jury duty as a defendant.
No, I was there just bored out of my mind waiting to get called in, but they didn't do it. So Cohen comes in, gets his interview, and it's a meme. Turns into a meme where he tries to say Duval. Yeah. So your first impression after that, what was the first fan base's impression of his interview? Were you nervous? Were you?
No. So I can only speak from my fandom, because we have, and I'm sure you guys have it too, there's a lot of stupid people in fan bases. Like, the thing about a fan base is it kind of welcomes everybody if you just like the team. But we have stupid fans, and but the reality was, I thought it was swaggy. I thought it was cool. I thought he was coming in being different. And the thing is most of the head coaches that have been successful as of late all had like quirky, weird press conferences. They did something, and everybody's like, what was that? I don't know. But then they go on to be really successful, and then lo and behold, we have like you said, we go from 4-13 to 13-4.
The Browns would have been done with him. Cleveland fans would have been done with him immediately.
Even if they would have went 14-3, they still would have found a reason not to like that coach. That's just how it is here in Cleveland. Okay, so we're getting into after the press conference. You Gladstone comes in, they team up and they go in, they do the moves they need to make in the offseason, and the draft comes. As a Cleveland fan, we're hearing Jacksonville's the team that's going to trade with, because they're very interested in Hunter. You got Andrew Berry putting sauce on Hunter, saying that he's a unicorn, He's amazing. Obviously, the drive up the price, saying we're going to take him. This is just my interpretation of everything. And then comes draft night, and and by the way, I think this podcast called it. And when I said I think we should trade down and get Mason Graham, and a lot of people say, no, you need an offensive guy. I said, well, Mason Graham on defense is just going to be amazing. He's going to be great with Miles. He's going to free Miles up. Miles can get a lot more sacks. It happened.
Real quick, Jim. Meanwhile, we had a defensive tackle at our draft party that was
supposed to.
We had Ralph
be next
at our
to Miles.
draft. Yeah,
yeah. So it was a little
they
weird.
They drafted Mason Graham, and I look over at Angel and I look over at Ralph, and I'm
just talking during the live. It was weird. But either way, so it happens. The trade happens. You guys trade up to number 2. You guys give us a 5th. I'm going to give you the players that you gave us. You gave us Graham. You gave us Junkins, Sampson, and a player to be named later next year, which is the 24th pick. I can, right?
Yeah, 24th pick. Round. Yes.
So I just want to say thank you for screwing that up, because we wanted a top 10, top 15 pick. And we came in thinking, hey, we can trade up and go get a quarterback. Now we're like, what we're going to do with this random 24th pick. So we'll see how that plays out, because Andrew Berry did have a pretty good draft. How did you like the trade on draft night?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay. How did the fan base respond? Like, so you liked it. What was the general view of it at the time from the feedback you got?
I mean, I think it's always split. Like I said, you have the fans that they're just so jaded. Yeah. Like I don't even know why they're Jags fans, to be honest with you. They should be Titans or Texans or something like that. I don't know. But like, you know, you have the one side that was like, oh, they gave up too much and this, look at them, they think they're playing Madden, you know, stuff like that. And the other side of us is just like, look, man, we're tired of being boring. Like, I'm glad they just made a splash move. You just got here and you're kicking in the door, you know, like if people are going to talk about us negatively, well then why should we do it by the status quo? Why? We've done it by the status quo for so long and we've been bad. Every now and then we get lucky, you know. I mean, we've only, since the AFC South has been formed, we've only won the division 3 times. That's
good to hear, because we haven't won the division since '89.
We've never won the division. We've never won this division.
Yeah, we never won since we've been back. Yeah, since '99, we've never. It's been good. I mean, it's good feeling to know that there's at least one. There's hope there, guys. If they can do it, we can do it, right? Hopefully.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something, man. So I don't know how deep a dive you went in, but like the Jags are really, really tied to Cleveland. So we used to be in the AFC Central together. The Jags Cleveland game is the reason why we can't have glass bottles in the stadium, because the refs called the game. The refs called the game, and the game should have been stopped or whatever. But
if you don't think people in Cleveland are still talking about that,
I bet they are.
It's called Bottlegate. It's on a bunch of T-shirts, and it's something that comes up at least every year in
because they talk about
major Cleveland media.
You see a video.
Yeah, you're right though.
Anniversary.
That's what I said. So that was back in the AFC Central when it was Titans, Jags, and before they split us.
Well, Titans weren't around.
Oilers.
Yeah.
Oilers.
Team Steelers.
The movie.
Oh.
The movie Draft Day. That's about the Browns organization, right?
It's a good movie.
In Draft
and it never happened. It never come to fruition ever.
Right, but in the movie Draft Day, they make fun of it's an obvious reference to our GM, the new guy in Jacksonville, Dave Caldwell at the time. So there's a lot of connections, and then we end up getting the second youngest GM in the league, and James Gladstone, and who had the first youngest GM in the league, the Browns, with Andrew Berry. So the fact that as soon as he gets in the door, it's like he already had that connection, right? And, you know, we kind of talked about the in-season trade. Greg Newsome and Campbell.
Tyson Campbell.
I'm sorry, Tyson. I'm sorry.
Tyson's
Tyson
like,
Campbell.
man, I'm offended.
I love that guy.
No, Tyson is cool. Like Tyson is I met Tyson several times. Like he's a cool guy. But he just didn't fit our scheme. Like, but we're so tied in with you guys. And I think it's even the way the league looks at us. You know, like I think personally, I think obviously you have the best defensive end in the league. Like no doubt. I thought it was ridiculous. The script writers decided to make it the very last game of the year for him to break the record. That is ridiculous. But at the same time, man, it's like, bro, you can point at the Browns. You guys got Hall of Famers, man. You know, like all you really need is that coach. That's all you need. No, I'm saying to really kick it off because you have
starts there. Yeah, it starts there. And Jacksonville's a proof of it. And that's why, I mean, that's why I first of all, I was excited to bring you on. And then after, like you said, you saw all the woven history we have. And then you have everything that you just said. And the fact that we are, again, connected to you because we're looking to get an OC that is on your team. But before we get into that, I really want to hit the point of what I consider a home run culture changer. Not just, and by the way, your GM took the culture of what the Rams used to say, F those picks. And he literally set up those picks on draft night, traded what he can get to get Travis Hunter. Are you okay with him playing both ways? I hate that. I don't want to move on past that topic because that's a heated topic because he just come off and Cohen just said Gladstone said in his recent press conference, he's still going to play both ways.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. That's what you drafted him for. If it ever came down to him having to either play just one side or play a lot on this side and only have packages on this side, I'd be okay with that too. He's a talented athlete, right? And yes, sir.
So we had this debate because there was a point in time when we were like, if we pick second, the only pick for me was Travis Hunter. I didn't think there was a quarterback anywhere in the realm. Offensive linemen, there was too many that were like questionable that I could even decide which one you could consider taking at second. It really came down to like Travis Hunter or trade out for me. So we all had a big talk on the show. Okay, do you play him both ways full time, or do you play him one way full time and the other way in the triplet packages? So either nickel or in 11. And so when it came to it, I think all three of us wanted him to play on one side of the ball and then play the triplet package on the other. And we all picked the same one, I'm pretty sure. I'm curious what you picked.
Well, I wanted to see him play on both sides of the ball. Like but
if it came to the point like your hypothetical where it's like he's getting too banged up, we can't have him out there for 140 plays a game. We're going to play him one side full time and the other side when there's three out there, three receivers or three cornerbacks. Which side of the ball do you see him as stronger on, or just your preference? Got to do it.
He's like, I'm a guest, man. Don't make me check.
Okay. I guess corner. I guess full-time. Really? More full-time corner and then packages on offense.
We all picked the opposite, but I do think that has a lot to do with our team doesn't have any highlight wide receivers that we think can take a number one role.
Yeah.
And we've always had an ability to slot in corners, and we had a deeper corner package. So we all thought play him full-time wide receiver, play him on nickel on defense, put him outside. So you're saying, and that may just be scheme dependent.
Yeah, because I think Jacksonville was weaker. Jacksonville's
lockdown corner, and you have some receivers, but he can be another weapon on offense. I honestly think that is the right answer, but for each team.
Team is scheme specific. Yeah, because I do believe you guys, I mean, your defense was middle of the road ranked. I know the passing game was a little low. I think it's in the low 20s when I looked at it last. So I thought it made sense for him to play corner more there. Also, I just got this question in the chat. It reminded me. What do you think of Greg Newsome?
Well, his very first start, he got a touchdown scored on him.
Yeah, that's normally happened here.
But no,
did he dance after or
no, not after that one. But but no, I mean, I thought Greg Newsome played okay. If you're asking me, would we re-sign him? You know, I'd say what's the other options?
Mm.
You know, I'm not saying I wouldn't welcome him back to the team if he were to be re-signed, but I think you can obviously upgrade. But for skill set wise, he was an upgrade over Tyson.
For the scheme that you fit.
For the scheme, you know, going back to that scheme conversation. So like I said, I love Tyson. Like Tyson's figuratively my boy, you know. But it's like I get it. Like we're trying to do something. Tyson is really, really good at man.
Yep.
But he gets lost in zone. You know, he gets burnt. So actually, Tyson's biggest problem is that he has trouble tracking the ball. Like if the ball's like right in front of him, he's good. But like if he has to turn his head to look for the ball, he has real bad.
I think I did notice that. I think
you're right. He has a lot of trouble because like he's in position to make a play on the ball, but he can't find it. So receivers end up, you know, regaining position, catching, or he gets a penalty, or you know.
You know what that is? That's karma for you guys being good this year and putting us at 24.
we gave you a horrible.
That's how the odd thing is. I feel like on just from my end, I think we won both of those transactions, and in the ultimate, we didn't win as big as I thought because you guys were just outstanding this year, and that draft pick that I thought would be around 15 plummeted 10 picks lower. But I thought we got the better end of both of those deals, but your team just excelled so well that I feel like your fan base could easily be like, I'm not going to dwell on that. Like we're doing good. We're doing fine. Like, and in the long run, I know a lot of people are probably still thinking Hunter's going to come back. He'll play two ways. That's the biggest reason that deal fell through because he didn't get to show much.
The biggest thing for them though is it didn't take just that one guy to make that big of a difference after the injury. They still played on and played very well. So consistent.
Yeah, we actually played. So the crazy thing is we actually played better once he went on. And y'all
no take backs now, buddy. I'm sorry.
Don't clip me on that. But what I believe is that that they were actually gearing up, like because after he really showcased it in the Rams game in London, and then we went on our bye week, and coming off of the bye, I think we were going to the Raiders, and we had set up a whole game plan around Hunter, and then he tears something in his knee, and he goes out for the season during the bye week. Well, then we play the Raiders, beat them, come back the next week. I don't remember who we played the next week. The Texans. Go the next week, and we go to play the Texans. We had just acquired Jacoby Myers from the Raiders, who we just played the week before. And from that moment on, well, technically, I guess it was after the Texas game because that's when we went on the 8-game winning streak. But we blew a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter against the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
But Jacoby had just came on the team, and it opened up a whole new dimension to our offense. We were able to throw it across the middle. Trevor got really comfortable, and
comfortable with him quick too. And that's the crazy part. That connection seemed like overnight. One question in the chat that I was going to ask about, where's you guys' feeling on Thomas right now? Thomas Jr. as a receiver. I know he has some drop issues. Trust me, we know about drop issues here with Jared.
There was rumors about like organization and like he was not happy, but then I feel like that turns around quickly when you win. Was he having issues besides play on the field, or is that just off?
Well, I think it's gonna. So my theory, and this is my theory. I don't know if you guys know who Kyron Lacey is, but Kyron Lacey was his teammate. He was a wide receiver at LSU, right? And it was him and Malik Neighbors. They were like all best friends. Well, Kyron got accused of something, and like causing a vehicular homicide or something like that, and ultimately he ended up taking his life. Well, then come to find out that Kyron was innocent. And it seemed like when that news, because the season was just starting when that news came out. And I don't know, just BTJ, he seemed less confident. He didn't want to go across the middle. He's not a talker like some of these receivers. He's a real quiet, reserved guy. But I don't know. I think he had something. I feel like losing his friend and then finding out it was like for nothing. Dang. I think just maybe mentally. Again, this is my theory. I'm not speaking for BTJ. This is just for me observing certain things. But then he got hurt, and he missed a couple games. And Jacoby Myers again. It kind of goes back to the Travis Hunter injury, and then Jacoby Myers coming to the team. And then it just seemed like, okay, hey, look, we're going to put you on the outside. And we'll when the ball gets to you, it gets to you. But he lost his place in the progression. He's like the fourth progression now. And, it is what it is. But since that happened, his catch rate has gone up. He's caught more balls. He's caught a couple touchdowns for us. And also, I mean, it is his second year, and there is such thing as a sophomore slump. So it could be that.
Could be a mixture of all that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because we're big fans of Thomas here. So that's why for us, because we I don't know why we followed Jacksonville so much. Maybe this is the Trevor connection. Me and Chad like Trevor so much, like we kind of keep track of of that team.
They just like his hair. That's all, man.
Hey man, I'm bald. I wish I had hair like that. My wife would probably like me more.
I'd take that trade right now.
But he can't grow the beard though.
That's
I
true.
would trade the beard for that mane in a second. Do whatever you want with that thing. Like,
speaking of Trevor Lawrence, he had a couple of rough years, right? First year, touchdown to interception ratio. I'm going to specifically bring this up. First year, it's two touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Second year, 4 touchdowns. Better year, 1 interception. I think that was his Pro Bowl year, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Third year, he's 3-2. Fourth year, 3-2. But this year, he improved dramatically. 5 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. And that, I'm going to give you guys a funny stat, and it made me cry as a Browns fan.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence threw for 29 touchdowns. Do you know how many touchdowns Browns had as a team? Mike, don't answer because I told you earlier.
28?
Close, 26.
Oh.
As a team, the Browns scored 26 touchdowns and Trevor Lawrence threw 29 by himself. So that tells you how horrible our offense is. So
9 rushing touchdowns too.
That's over. No, that's rushing and passing. That's all offense touchdowns. As a matter of fact, our receivers, Jerry Jeudy and Tillman, had 2 touchdowns apiece each, and our middle linebacker Devin Bush had 2 touchdowns also. So he also
with Jerry Jeudy, man. The fall, like what is happening?
I have a theory. He's always been the dropsy. Like last year during his Pro Bowl year, he still was at the 8% drop rate. The problem is his output was so high. Like no one cared because he was 1,000 yards he only scored 4 touchdowns anyways last year. So his touchdown output was always been low. He was just getting thrown to by Jameis so much and catching deep balls. And people are just like, hey, he's a 1,000-yard passer. But it came back down to reality this year, especially when you really didn't have a quarterback.
It was the elevation change.
He's a very 750 yards as a rookie, 400 yards as a sophomore, 975 or something as a junior. Yeah. Then he went down again to 800. Then he came to the Browns and went up to 1250. And then last year was 650. So it's he's been an inconsistent player, and the drops are a nightmare. I mean, everybody knows I'm going to go. The quarterback play was just not good enough to make up for his
lackluster.
His problems.
So my wife got me this little football for Christmas, right? And it says positive football. Maybe a tiny football, but I believe in you. Go do your thing. You're awesome. I'm going to send this to Jerry Judy. Maybe he can catch this.
So, yeah. So basically, your offense transformed. 2024, you guys were ranked 25th with 306 yards, 34 touchdowns. 2025, ranked 11th, 337 yards per game, 55 touchdowns last year. 18 points per game, 320 points in 2024. Last year, 27 points per game. You guys scored 470 points. You guys were 12th in total offense last year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all Lima, all Cohen? Is that just all? Because he seemed to fix Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence looks more comfortable. He looks more decisive. He looks just totally different compared to his first 4 years in the league.
I said this to you backstage, with the exception of Jamarcus Russell. Quarterbacks don't fail franchises or organizations. Organizations or franchises fail quarterbacks.
That's true. We know that.
This franchise, I don't want to throw out our show's content, but I'll give a sneak peek. Nobody, even a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, nobody can name me one all-pro Trevor Lawrence had on his team. He can't name one future Hall of Famer Trevor Lawrence has ever played with since he's been here. Trevor Lawrence has done a lot with little. And I'm going to give you a stat. The Jacksonville Jaguars, up until this year, was the only team during Trevor Lawrence's tenure here, years 1 through 4, that whenever his QBR was under 90%, the team lost. We were the most QB dependent team in the league. That if he was 89%, we're going to lose because just the rest of the team is not doing anything. This is what allowed us to turn around was Liam Cohen's leadership, James Gladstone's decisiveness to just do things and make moves and say, hey, I see a problem. We have so much dead cap. Tyson Campbell is part of our dead cap for this year. We have so much dead cap. They said, we don't care about the money. We got to get these problems that can't help us win now off of our team. And that's no shade to Tyson. It's just you didn't fit what Campanelli, Liam Cohen, what this staff wants to do. And then most importantly, Tony Baselli, a guy who he was Jacksonville's very first draft pick in the 1995 supplemental draft. He was the very first draft pick. And he's our only Hall of Famer. Like, they keep snubbing Fred. Yeah. I don't think, Jimmy's just getting on the ballot, but at the same time, if it's taking Fred this long, it took Tony a long time to get in. But if it's taking Fred this long, it's going to take Jimmy even longer. But my point is that the whole brain trust, they put Jacksonville first. And this is the first time since probably the 90s. And I was a child in the 90s, so I don't even have a good understanding of what was going on back then. But this is the first time that it felt like the franchise put the team with the city's name on it first. And they poured, hey, Trevor needs somebody who he can depend on and catch the ball. They went and got Jacoby Myers. Hey, we need to draw star power. We need to draw attention. What's going to make them do it? This phenom, Travis Hunter, who has his own YouTube channel, who has his own cult following. Like, he has followings outside of football. It's like we said in our podcast, it's like the Taylor Swift effect with Kansas City. Kansas City absorbed this whole fan base when Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift started dating. It's essentially the same thing. Like, we absorbed a whole new genre of fans because
so do we. Hey, so do we, and we're super excited about it.
It seems like the Travis fans though are more. I don't even want to say the term realistic.
Reasonable?
Yeah, reasonable. That's a better word.
Any
Than
fan. You could
Shedeur
be a fan of literally anyone in this league, and you're going to be a more reasonable person.
I mean, from someone that does this every week, it seems sometimes when you try to say that like something specifically about Shedeur's game, it gets twisted as hate, and it's like
Somebody actually just commented in the chat. Trevor Lawrence is a bum. He threw 12 interceptions last year, and Sanders only threw 10.
Sanders only played 7 games.
10 more games. Jim, I got a
He
question.
had 18-7, man. That I take that all day.
I had a customer give me this, and there's 2 sides to this coaster, okay? And I want you
Trevor
to
only played 10 games too, just to let you know, because he was hurt. Yeah.
So Shedeur, the Shredder Sanders, or
Shedeur.
The
Yeah, we
which one are you going with?
we like Shedeur. We want Shedeur to succeed. It's just that when we see like something that we have a problem with, it's like he needs to fix this. It gets like turned like, why are you guys hating on him? It's like, no, we want him to throw less interceptions. That's what we would like.
We'd prefer when you say there's 10 and 7 that it wasn't 10 interceptions, 7 touchdowns. We would just say if it was 7 interceptions and 10 touchdowns, we'd be feeling a little better about a rookie season. But if you're like, he got to cut down the interceptions, you just get crushed. Like, you don't know ball. You're an idiot. Sanders is the most accurate player in the history of the game. When he's in the Hall of Fame, you're going to feel like an idiot. And you're like, it's so hard to even get a point out because you're like,
yeah,
you're not even making sense. Like, I'm just going to step back.
Yeah. But yeah, Travis Hunter, he's a good, it seems like he has a good following, good following, good kid.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Yeah, he's got, I would have liked him here.
He's quirky.
The reason why I didn't want him here is because I knew we would waste him. I just knew. I was like, we're not good enough to have a good enough talent on here. He would just be wasted. It'd be one of those guys like, he's always a great Brown, but couldn't do anything because they overused him and they abused him. And I'm glad he's in Jacksonville, where obviously they're trending the right way.
I would have felt the same way though. Like if we had the old regime or any of the old regimes, I would have felt the same way. The only reason I felt good is because it was just all fresh faces and they just took a swing. Yeah. And Travis Hunter was the best player in the draft. Like he was the best, just definitely all around player.
Highest ceiling prospect. There's nobody else that has the ability.
We never do that. We never do that. We never just drop our nuts. You know what I'm saying? And they did it. And I'm proud of this team and organization for doing it. Even if we had I'm gonna say this, even if we would have had a poor season, like let's just say everything happens the way it happens, but we lost those games down the stretch, right? And we only won like 5 games this year.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Well, yeah, for you it would have been awesome, but for us,
it would have been great for us.
Yeah.
but for us, it was like, hey, we still got the best player in the draft, and he got hurt. He didn't play the last 10 games. So, you know what I'm saying? Like we could have been. You can call it coping, whatever fandom, but we would have. It would have made sense because we didn't have the guy that we traded up for to get. But the fact that we did it without him, like Mike had alluded to earlier, I mean, that just makes us as a fan base feels like the sky's got to be the limit.
Because he should add another win or 2 at least once healthy. You would think next year.
Tell us more about this 5-win season.
Let us. One thing,
real quick. Logan just said, kind of like we said about Watson, it unfortunately backfired, but at least we swung for the fences for once. We haven't done that in quite a while. So I was kind of impressed when we did the trade, and everything for that summer was great. And then play started, and you just seen it crumble right in front of our eyes, and it was disappointing.
Controversy.
Was it great?
Oh yeah, we didn't even.
A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people didn't like that trade. Some people did. Some people didn't.
I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag for sure. You had the Baker Bros mad because he was gone, and then his history, Watson's history, added to the mix. It was a.
Can I ask you guys? Do you feel like you gave up on Baker too soon?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I do.
And I'm saying this as a person that really wasn't a big Baker fan. Baker's a sub 500 guy, anyways. I mean, he's doing what he's doing in Tampa, I think he's always going to be hovering around 500. But for me, I think we would have won more games with him than without him. And obviously that's proof in the pudding.
The bigger thing is you stick with him and then you have a lot more picks to continue building the team. And even if he doesn't work out, you are left in, I think, a much better position.
Because you have
the way we shipped him off for almost nothing. Like we shipped him off the year coming off his worst year due to a shoulder injury, and then he had to have surgery. Nobody was going to give anything for him. And that was such a Browns move to be like, well, then we'll just give him up. Like you spent the first pick in the draft on him. Any other year you were going to give up on him, you could have gotten something back, a second or something. They got a fifth for the kid. And then to give 3 firsts up, it was putting so much on the shoulders of a guy coming off of the NFL's biggest like scandal, like that I in any recent history, was just like the fear in the back of a Browns fan's head was like, whatever can go wrong usually does, and you just set yourself up in a position where the most wrong thing could happen.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were like, I was blown away at how many people were optimistic about it, because like they just set themselves up to like where this could completely blow up.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel like he probably would have won more here. I think he has a ceiling, and I think Tampa last year was a ceiling, even though it was a good year. To have a good ceiling that high was good, but I think he's kind of trending back down. I think he's going to be. I mean, he's in a bad division too, so it helps. So it's like one of those things. Like, can he do that in this division where it's a lot harder to win in the North as opposed to NFC South? And I mean, I love the guy. I wish he was still here, but unfortunately, the Browns.
He allowed y'all to like break glass for like a beer or something.
Yeah,
first
man. First win in a long time.
Everything has to do with beer. Bottlegate, Baker opening up the fridges.
From fridges, yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love when that came out.
One thing I didn't realize is when I was doing research on your team is that last year you guys were ranked 29th in penalties, which you would think a team that's 14-3 would not be, or 13-4. Like, why are they winning despite killing themselves with penalties? First of all, what do you attribute to the penalties? And second of all, obviously the culture there, they can overcome putting themselves backwards because of the offense is so good, right?
Yeah, well, yes. And it's horrible. Like, it was so horrible. All the illegal motions and illegal shifts and illegal formations, and just most of the penalties early on were on the offense. And look, Travis Hunter was a big part of that. Travis Hunter, I remember one game he had 3 illegal shifts. In the Browns game. It was in the Browns game. Not the Browns, I'm sorry, the Bengals game, the other Cleveland team.
Hey.
They're closer to Kentucky than Cleveland, but yeah, go ahead.
I've actually been to a Cincy game, Trevor's rookie year, when Urban stayed behind.
Urban, yeah, he was at a bar.
yeah, that was a big story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it. And again, I know what it sounds like, but after he went on IR, a lot of that stuff stopped. But they also started benching J.I.M.B. Brown. Like, there's other players that they were moving their pieces out of the way and inserting other players. So it wasn't just him. But I do think that, after going through the draft process, he's already a celebrity, Travis Hunter. Hunter is already a celebrity. So he's doing like these celebrity games. He's doing these Adidas commercials. He's doing this and he's doing that on top of trying to learn an NFL defense and learn an NFL offense, both that are brand new to the team. So nobody on the team really knows it except for, Robert Hainsey, our center that we got from Tampa that worked with Liam Cohen and Nick Mullins from the Vikings, who came over with Grant Udinski. He was familiar with the scheme. So, but other than that, like, nobody nobody knew it, and you can't be in both rooms at the same time. So he would have to supplement times in between, and like at practice when he's not doing something focused specific on the side of the ball he was working on, he would go over to the opposite side of the ball's coaching staff, and they would do like on-air drills and stuff with him. I just think it was a lot. I think that the injury was a blessing in disguise for everybody involved. Now he could really get in the playbook, and they can really hone in on how they're going to utilize him, you know, knowing that, okay, hey, we got other key players in key positions. We just need – James Gladstone said it in this press conference. Obviously, we're going to have a deep need at corner. So this coming year, he's still going to play both sides of the ball, but we're probably going to see a higher focus on corner.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I'm okay with that as long as he plays to a level of what we saw in college on either side of the ball, if not on both, but on either side. And I think we're going to be all right. And I think that, again, his injury, though unfortunate, allowed us to really, okay, hey, we don't have to do this back and forth stuff with Travis right now. Offense, we can just focus on the offense. Defense, we can just focus on the defense. And I just think that they were just able to flourish and just kind of, you know, spread their wings a little bit, not having to worry about him going back and forth, while at the same time calculating and formulating new plans on how they can properly execute it going into next season.
Yeah. He averaged 111 snaps per game, Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty high for a rookie his first year. I mean, he did it. I mean, until he got hurt, but he did good. We'll transition here to what I'm
news,
excited
Angels,
to talk about.
A Jaguars podcast now.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'll bring up this comment here from our other co-host on Saturday's show, Sam, Browns Morning Brew at 10 a.m. if you guys want to tune in. I am more and more leaning with Angel. I have a history here of changing people's minds. When I'm stuck on somebody like Kenny Pickett, I can convince people Kenny Pickett could be a good quarterback.
Kenny Pickett.
No, that
The
should
only
be a
problem is
warning
they
out
get
there to
traded before it
everybody.
happens.
That should be a warning out there to everybody to, like, maybe
Kenny
before
Pickett.
Angel changes your mind, remember Kenny Pickett.
So he says, I'm leaning more with Angel with hiring Grant Udinski. Obviously, the Browns are not going for a top higher name coach. Who said that? Thought I did. Yeah, they're not going to go for a top guy. I'm down with rolling the dice on a young guy like Udinski. Tell Angel I said that. Sam, who is the old guy on the show, he wanted Mike McCarthy, another old coach, old man, or once an old coach. So we'll transition to Grant here. Grant, I'm sorry, Mr. Coach Udinski for Chad there, so I can properally call him his.
You have some respect,
his
Angel.
name. Check doesn't like when I call coaches by their first name.
That everybody.
To be honest,
well-
I'm just hiding the fact that I keep forgetting what all these guys' first names are. And so it's like, yeah, Jesse's doing an interview this week, and I'm like, who's Jesse?
Who's the name of Jesse?
Minter. Yes, okay.
Got it. So Grant Udinski, Coach Grant Udinski. When he was brought there, was there a big buzz? Because he had some buzz in Minnesota. Small.
No, not really.
Not really. Okay.
Not because Liam Cohen's our play caller.
Yep. Okay.
You know, we knew that he was coming in as a functionary role, you know, and he was there to help develop Trevor Lawrence. You know, when he came, so, you know, I don't know how far back you guys have gone on Grant Udinski, but
I've done the deep dive. But go ahead.
So, you know, he was on that 2020 Panthers team with Matt Rule. After that blows up, he gets another opportunity at the Minnesota Vikings, where he becomes like an offensive assistant. You know,
that was
like one of those real, one of those
title for him.
those like obscure titles, right?
Yeah.
And then I believe he became like the assistant quarterbacks coach. Then he became
special projects.
Mm-hmm. And
that's what they call it.
Offensive assistant.
Yep.
Offensive assistant coach or assistant offensive coaches. Yes. And then he took on like a dual role as still 2 assistants, but one as like a quarterback's coach and one still to the offensive coordinator. And again, I think with Liam Cohen's system, I'm not really sure how Nick Mullins understands the system. I'm really not sure about that connection, but you know, I guess they saw their big thing in the Jacksonville Jaguars is about communication. We have elite communicators. And so that's what word was about Grant. Like Grant could take a play and he can tell you all that the whys and hows, and if they do this, you do that. And that's what he was just here for. Him, Shane Waldron, Spencer Whipple, all these guys were brought in to basically insulate Trevor Lawrence, which in my opinion, the franchise should have done that from the beginning. As a rookie, you insulate them. Instead, you just throw them out there, face of the franchise, and you got Herb's mess going on behind him. Anyway, that's different.
Yeah.
But
they messed him up when he went after Herb. That's a whole year and a half.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
2
podcast.
years. Yeah, you can put 2 years of wasted talent on that because he wasted a whole year of a development on that.
Right.
Sorry.
And then, you know, and then the reboot with Doug Peterson. But now you've actually insulated him with offensive minds that want to take Trevor Lawrence's strengths and let's focus on that. And we can hey, if you don't do this well, let's not have you do it. Let's just take this out. Hey, I see you're not doing this and you do this really well. Why don't we add this in? And Grant has been instrumental in what they're calling Trevor Lawrence toolbox. So Trevor Lawrence gets a play from Liam Cohen, and the play has a can to it. So it means like, this is the original play. If I can it, we're going to the second play that's in the play call. What Grant has done with Trevor is he takes game film and they do like extra credit. And he goes into the film and he's like, hey, and Trevor's like, ooh, what's this look? I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if that's what Trevor really says, but and Grant's like, oh, this is this, that, and the third, and you do this, or this against it, right? Trevor says, how often do they run that? Grant runs the numbers, tells them, okay, put that in my toolbox. So now outside of the original play call, and this is where like Trevor starts to get kind of Peyton Manning-ish, where now he's changing, he's seeing what the defense does with a motion from a back or a receiver or a tight end. He's seeing what they're doing. And then if he's like, okay, the play we're running is going to work against his defense, or he may have a play in his toolbox, which is like 15 additional plays that he can just pull out and he'll audible to it, change the whole offense, and then run it. And that's kind of the explosiveness of Trevor Lawrence over that 8-game winning streak. Like that's what you saw him doing, going up to the line and getting into that toolbox that Grant Udinski helped him create.
That's my new term. I'm gonna take that term. Guys, did you hear what he just said? He communicates well. What don't we ever do here in Cleveland? Coaches don't communicate. Don't tell players why and where to go and how to do it and why to do it. And if you don't see it, go here. Why? Because this is why. Grant is a great communicator. What did Andrew Berry say in his press conference? We need a great communicator, guy with high IQ, EQ, a leader of men. That is what I see, or when I read about Grant. Everything he just said, I already knew. This is why I'm excited about Grant, because I think, yes, he's 30. Yes, he's never called plays, which I think is overrated anyways. I think Grant can bring that type of mentality to a team that doesn't have any smart people in the room, other than, if you want to call Andrew Berry smart. That's just my take. So, Chad, what do you need to say?
Couple ironies. First of all, the biggest criticism we've heard of the Browns front office and coaching staff for the last few years is they're too smart. They're nerds. They're Ivy League guys. They're too much about like learning and teaching, and they're not tough enough. We need tough. We don't need nerds. We don't need IQ. So I push back on the fact that there's not smart guys in the room. Kevin Stefanski went to Penn. That's an Ivy League school. Yeah. He's smart enough. So my second question is, it's less of a pushback. It's more of a concern because I'm not anti-Udinski. what you just described to me is the world's greatest quarterback coach. What is it about him that's going to lead me to believe he is a good head coach when your general manager basically said, we want a CEO. We don't want a guy just running the offense or calling plays. We want a guy who acts more as a CEO and runs his coaches and his organization. And I guess my pause comes from that organization he's got to run, and that system of coaches and that he has to put together includes about 20 different coordinators and assistants of different types. Does he know 20 different available people to hire? If he has to, like, that's where my pause is for him is he able to transition from this guy you just described as able to go one-on-one with Trevor to a guy that should almost never be talking directly to Trevor on a daily basis, more than maybe 5 minutes, and oversee the person 2 levels down from him who is talking to Trevor all day and night? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was just a lot in the question, but I think I got you. So first, I'll say something to what you just said last. So Liam Cohen spends almost as much time with Trevor as Grant does. Liam Cohen is very hands-on with Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, in the times that he's allowed to be, because NFL, I'm not saying that they're like talking off the clock.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that NFL, but he's very hands-on with Trevor Lawrence and the offense because, again, he's the play call, like it's his offense. So he's very hands-on. Grant and them are, I mean, they're just they're his assistants. That's all. And they take care of the minute stuff. So my answer is twofold about Grant's leadership. He's a great leader at the specific task that he was asked to do. I can vouch for that. I don't know if he can be a leader of men. I don't know that because he wasn't asked to do that. Now, I'm sure as a coach, he has some leadership qualities, but if you're asking me, can he lead a whole team? Can he find, I'm sure he can find coaches, but will they be the right coaches? What Liam Cohen ended up doing is he took guys that he knew or guys that he had, threads of relationships with. And then he also took on a guy like Shane Waldron. Now him and Shane had worked together too, but there's nothing really good tied to Shane Waldron's name. I'm just saying, but he has been instrumental in the role of developing Trevor Lawrence. And I think, again, in their respective places under the leadership of Liam Cohen, I think that any of those guys are great. But if I'll be honest with you, I would never recommend Shane Waldron for another head coaching job, ever. But I've seen him do a bad job at it. I haven't seen Grant do it, but I also haven't seen Grant lead men. But if you want somebody that's going to come in and can exactly explain to you what you should and shouldn't be doing, Grant's your guy.
And I don't think, do you think maybe you haven't seen him lead men because he's not asked to lead men? Because
exactly.
If his job is to, and by the way, he doesn't only get credit for developing Trevor Lawrence, he also gets credit for developing Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold had a career year in Minnesota, which translates into Seattle with Kubiak, who's another offensive mind. Obviously, he's having a good year there. So that is what I see. I don't know if he can lead men, but at the same time, I say he hasn't been asked to yet. Can a 30-year-old lead a 50-year-old? I've seen it. I'm 43 years old, and there are people, IT guys, who call me at work, and they're like 23 telling me what to do. So, I mean, just because
your
someone's younger
daughters
than you,
run you. Come on.
My household runs me, to be honest with you. I got a 9-month-old that runs me right now. What are you talking about? I had to change his diapers. I got to feed him. I got to put him in bed. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like everyone, it's weird to me. Like everyone, the biggest pushback is he doesn't call plays. I'm not bothered by that. I've never been bothered by that.
He can. He has.
If he's as smart, if he's as smart as everyone says, he would be
can.
capable of calling plays, most likely. I think the only thing about calling plays is it's just another notch on your belt of experience.
Exactly.
Like I said, it's not about that. It's about he's very inexperienced. He doesn't have a huge, Rolodex of connections, and I just don't want to get swept away with he's great with a quarterback. So we've seen that doesn't translate to a great head coach so many times that it seems like it's almost like not a relevant factor.
I feel that it's been communicated so much throughout his 6 years by different people that I can't ignore that. It's like more than one person is saying it. You have O'Donnell saying it in Minnesota. You have some people saying in Carolina, and then you have someone saying it in Jacksonville that he can go there. Now one day, if it's not on this team, it's be a different team. We'll find out. Hopefully it's here and he's successful. But
I see your guys' logic, but hear me out. Literally, who wants to come here? What do we have to offer? We have a top 3 defense. Okay. We have a new stadium, a new dome coming. What else is there? Who's going to realistically want to come here? And why not give it a shot to bring in this new kid, see what he can do with the team? Yes, Jim, I'm sorry. I'm talking about stealing your offensive coordinator. It's going to happen. Anyways, there's so much that could happen with this. I'm sorry.
He's not really. I don't think he's
be totally okay. To be honest, if he's as good as impactful as like this description, you probably shouldn't be okay. You should be a little nervous that like now Cohen's got a big task to pick up, unless maybe he can build.
Well, Josh Cursar was just let go from the Tampa, and he basically did that for him and Baker at Tampa. So I mean,
he's gonna get
and look, he could. I mean, he could go someplace else. We may not even get a chance to hire him. But I just think that the message from our top from the Jag Vengers is they have one band, one sound, and it's what's going to make us the best on the grass, and they're just gonna. If you're not in the organization to do that right now, then they're not going to have you. But I think Grant, again, I think he's elite in what he does for our organization. But I think if he were to leave, I have complete faith that this new staff will bring in somebody, if not just as competent, more competent, or somebody that they're comfortable with that knows how their process is going to work. Insert. This new regime, unlike the old regime, they put the triangle in the triangle hole. They put the round peg in the round hole. Our other ones were trying to put stars in the squares, and it was bad. So it's not so much of Grant, because I love Grant.
Yeah.
And look, I think if you guys get Grant, I think you're getting a great human being. I just can't say what he would be as a head coach. And
somebody's
I think
got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, somebody's got to start. I mean, everybody, look at what they said about Liam. Look at what they said about Nick Sirianni. Look what they said about Sean McVay. You're hiring this young guy from the Commanders. Yeah, I was trying not to say the old.
I was going to say, I almost said it myself.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm kind of getting sick of the stereotypical, oh, we got to hire old head. Well, the NFL is changing in a whole, so bringing this new kid that could bring us some new, fresh offense. See what could happen. What do we have to lose, guys? We're the Browns.
More games.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're used to that, though. We're numb to that now, right?
You're wide open, though. You
not
just
our receivers.
Coaches.
I'm not that numb to it. I'm ready to change.
Our receivers. Good.
But you have 3 coaching vacancies in your division right now.
Yeah.
And we're the worst.
Somebody said like the best coach in each division, and when it got to the AFC North, it said not Zach Taylor.
Yeah, and I agree. Someone will get hired in this division who's immediately better than Zach Taylor. Like when McDermott is coaching for the Ravens, he's immediately going to be up at the top.
And we had his brother. We had his brother as our OC last year with Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's a gamble either way because he's an unknown, right? But Mike, to your point, what do you got to lose? We're losing a guy that we know is good, but I'm going to lean into the faith that the brain trust is going to bring in somebody just as capable to fill in that role. You know, if the offense is the only thing that's going to change in the offense is whatever wrinkles Trevor and Liam decide they're going to put in it.
Right.
Yeah, I like what everything you said from the communication aspect, because I do think maybe that's what we're missing, that he's not whatever coaches we have are just not communicating to the players level, wherever that level is, whether someone's super smart or someone needs to condense it down. And I feel what everything I've read from about Grant is that he relates to the player and he communicates on their level. And I
Yes.
think that's what we need. That's how you start off as a coach, right? You start off as a coach. And you also said that Cohen has a culture of adjusting, right? That doesn't work for you, then we're going to throw it out. I think we had Kevin here who said, this is going to work for you. If it doesn't work for you, then we're going to still make it work. You know, that's why Watson came, it didn't work. That's why Shador, sometimes they didn't work to his strength sometimes. So I think Grant coming in here can help elevate whatever quarterback we have here this year to get us enough wins, hopefully, to be respectable, if not a surprise like Jacksonville. I'm not saying that you're going to flip it like Jacksonville did, because what Jacksonville did is amazing. And also they built that culture with the unity of a GM and a coach, and they all had the same message. Everything, like from what he's saying, came down straight down from bottom to top, from top to bottom.
Everything. And now let me ask you this question. Do you guys think of the risk of hiring a young guy and the franchise itself saying, no, this is how we're going to run the franchise? Or do you think that your franchise can, let a new guy come in and just try to change the organization?
Hey,
I'll go first really quick.
The answer is A.
I mean, listen,
You guys disagree? I think the answer is an obvious A.
You're in at least a 2-year building process with just the offense alone, correct? I mean, you got to get offensive linemen, you got to get wide receivers. Why not take this chance? Like I said, sign them to a 2 or 3 year deal.
I just mean to answer his question, like, is this guy going to come in and is Haslam going to say, do whatever you want? Or are Haslam and Barry going to say, we are all going to make this decision together and we're going to do what the group thinks? Are they going to let him come in and just do his own thing? I think no chance. There's nothing from Barry and Haslam that they've said or done in the last half decade to make me think they will ever let a young guy come in here and just run the ship.
And I don't think they're going to problem.
I don't think they're going to let him run the ship right away, but I think he's going to have input. If they respect him enough, if they've seen that there's proof of his success, I think over time, as trust is built, he will get that say that he should get. I wouldn't say he won't. I think he already has. I think Barry already said, hey, the head coach is going to have say in who starts at quarterback. And I think that's already trusting in a head coach, whether he's 30 or 50, that he's going to help be insightful, instrumental on who the starting quarterback is going to be. So I wouldn't say no. Now, I think our organization's different to the point where it's collaborative. Now, what does that collaborative look like? Who knows?
Looks like Haslam makes the final call on everything.
It seems like now Barry's in control. Before it was Kevin, Barry, then it switched back and forth, and then it went to this collaborative. We all have to decide. I don't know how they pulled straws or whatever. I don't know. Right. But eventually Barry, I think Barry's right now the lead dog in the house. And obviously he's going to pick the coach he wants. So I think in unison, they're going to work together because Barry's going to want to pick the guy that has his vision. But the ace in the hole, like Chad said, is if Haslam comes in and says, well, I want Jim Schwartz, darn it. And then he screws things up.
Yeah, because I think that's what our success came from. And Shad Khan, a lot of people think like, oh, he's not a hands-on owner, but he really is. Like, he's invested a lot in not just the city of Jacksonville, but in obviously we got a new stadium coming. He built a new practice facility, new locker room. He bought out the shipyard. He's going to create he's poured in a lot of money into the community. Obviously he's getting something out of it. But my point is that he put people in place and they gave him bad products. Shad really took a leap on, like I said, Tony Baselli before, and he now lets them, hey, whatever you think is best for this organization, do it.
Yeah.
And he's backing them. So I think that's what it's going to take. Like, especially some of these older, like, look, I don't know how you guys feel about the Cowboys, but I think as long as Jerry Jones is still running the ship, bro, they're not going to be successful because you can't get off of your old ideologies of what the NFL was. Like, this is 2026, bro. We got quarterbacks that paint their nails. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like, we got bobbleheads on the field with the Guardian hat. Like, it's a totally different league now.
Yeah.
Totally different.
And I
league.
would say outside of Jerry Jones, the next owner that I think of who can't get out of his own way, I just think is ours.
Jimmy. Yeah. Sometimes he did a pretty good job the last couple of years, but the whole Kevin winning 8 games, I felt like he needed to step in to get rid of the chaos.
And I still think he was the one that stepped in to fire our offensive staff because he wanted Watson to work, and that made it worse. I still think he's the one that stepped in and made the ultimate Baker to Watson decision. I just think once about every 2 years or so, he gets this urge to step in and make a huge change, and it has so far not turned out well at any time I can think of.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, J.I.M.B.O, thanks for coming on. Can you shout out your podcast, what time it starts, and the website, whatever it is you need to plug?
Yeah, man. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Like I said, we got to do a crossover episode. We go live every Thursday, 7:30. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, pretty much all the socials. So come check us out, man. It's the Men and Teal. We keep it real. We keep it teal.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to follow him because, like he said, we're the organization side by side. I mean, you can follow Travis Hunter and see if the trade's going to work out.
Very weird link. Yeah, we're more linked than we've ever been.
More linked than you think.
We're more linked than we were when we were in the same division.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to that. So
yeah, it starts there. All right, we appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Let the guys know. Thanks for having you come on. We'll do a crossover. I'll hit you up in the DMs.
Yeah, man. Hit me up in the DMs, brother. We'll set it up. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, man. It's nice meeting you, J.I.M.B.O. We'll see you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's said a lot about
a
lot of praise, at least as a leader, as a communicator. Sorry, not as a leader. That's encouraging.
Angel, are you at all worried that he is less confident in Grant Udinski than you are?
As a head coach, he wasn't advocating for him.
He seems much less sure of Udinski being able to come in.
Oh, head coach? Oh, yeah, I'm sure. No, I'm 100, not 100%. Nothing's 100%. I'm 50% sure that he's going to work out. I mean, who on this list do you guys want? Who
50% sure? That's a coin flip.
Yeah, of course.
I thought you were like 98% sure.
Oh,
the way you're
every other coach on here is a coin flip.
You better rev that up.
Every other coach is a coin flip on here. You want Schwartz? You want to bring Schwartzy in? The old man? Todd Monken? You want to bring him in? You want to bring in?
Is like I love Schwartz, but it's weird every time he's brought. Like every time I see like I forget who reported it last week, Pete Prisco or whoever it was that was like, I think Schwartz has the inside track. You know how you really feel when you think you hear something and like your
Yeah,
like
an
instant emotion. You know what I mean?
I've been there all week.
I saw that report and it sounded like it was unfounded. But after I read it, I was like, oh, this is kind of unfounded. He's just guessing because it was the first person announced for a second interview, and that's what they're basing the story on, right? So it's like that's nothing. They're gonna second interview like 9 guys. He's already in the build. He lives here. It's the easiest.
Yeah, it's easier to get him there.
You have full access to him. There's no rules. But when I first saw that, I read it in my mind quickly as a report that, like, as if like Rappaport was saying he's got the inside track of the job, and I was kind of like, oh, and that's when I realized like,
I don't want
really
him.
don't
I don't want him.
I guess
that's exactly how I felt. I felt Schwartz is a good DC. I've done enough research. I get it. He might do well here.
And
He
he's
might
old.
lose.
He's not ancient.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
had one stint where he had a little good, but a lot more bad. You could be better the second time, but he just
most
doesn't
coaches don't, though.
give me any oomph.
Most
Yeah, let's
coaches
take
don't
away
do
the
well the second
coach
time.
and make him a head coach, or the only good part of the team that we do have.
Yeah, and also too, the defense. Let's be real. The defense. I understand that the defense is great. I'm not dismissing what they've done this year, but if you go to full Pro Football Reference and type in the defensive statistics on the road, you'll start to have pause like I do, because on the road on the defense they did not play well.
I've also just heard so there's three things I look for in a head coach. Maybe it's not exactly what Barry's looking for, but kind of the three things I orient to are: one, how good of a leader are you, right? And that doesn't just mean like I can rev guys up. It means, are you organized? Can you lead? Do you have your back to that emotional intelligence stuff? Two is like, what is your level of experience? And it's like, what good experiences do you have that I can that will lead you to understanding what everyone else is doing? That's the one thing he probably does have a ton of. And before we go to three, the first one is what worries me, because for when it comes to Schwartz, I've heard in the past that the reason he was out of the NFL after his coaching stint for a while is because he was tough to work with, and a lot of guys didn't want to work with him. So it took time before, I think it was Mike Vrabel brought him in as a defensive assistant before that went well, and he went back to being a defensive coordinator. The rest is history. But it still is stuck in my head for years ago, where some people said he's kind of difficult to work with. And so,
do you think he went and Googled how to be a head coach?
How to work well with others.
How to work well with others. And then
how to work well with others for dummies.
The last one is, I just think you have to understand. It's not just leading. You have to be able to you have to have the experience. You have to have the overall understanding, and then you have to have a want to get things done, however it will take to succeed. And when I talk Jim Schwartz, two of those things just don't seem to track. But to your point, in every one of these candidates, there's at least one of those things.
Yeah, it's you got Nexus. Todd Monken, I don't care for. I don't even want to waste time talking about him. But watch him get the job now.
I was just gonna say, I think he's a great candidate. I think he's close to those things. How do we know about his ability to work with people? Well, Jim Harbaugh just basically fired himself because he was so unwilling to let Todd Monken go. He would rather have just quit the job than say, I'm not letting this guy go. This guy's not the problem. And to me, that kind of connection. He's also very experienced and very connected. And
that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it.
The reason he gives people pause is he was a coach here. He's an offensive coordinator, and the offense sucked. But again, I don't need him to be an offensive coordinator. I need him to be the other thing. So I guess that's why I'm looking at it.
I mean, I guess that's a good argument there. Jesse Minter, he's the same thing. He's a young guy, calls just a defensive guy. You're going to end up getting what everybody wants. Get rid of Jim Schwartz. Is he even a 4-3 guy? Does he run the same scheme? If not, then you have to switch everything up.
I've always completely believed this. If they bring in another defensive coordinator, I cannot imagine they will work with Jim Schwartz.
No, I agree. People are trying to do that.
And if they're a defensive coordinator now, it means they know a bunch of defensive coaches that they think could be defensive coordinators that they've already worked with, and that's where I think you could bring them in. But
Chad,
do you know
Loose Boosie? I fell for that. Damn it!
Fell for it. Next, and the other. Outside of Grant, the other guy that I do like is Nate Schoolhouse. Right, I like him because of
that's the one that shocks me.
Because I like the fact that maybe now that's more hopeful. And he's got a lot more interviews than Grant, by the way.
It's crazy. That one shocks me. People are so high. He's never even been an assistant coach. He's never even been a coordinator yet. So crazy.
But these are the people. And we talked about this in the chat yesterday. I think, and I kind of pointed it out, like maybe people are attributing their past game success to him, to Nate, because he does scheme
Haven't they
up. He
always
does
been
scheme it up.
triple
He
passing
does
offense?
scheme up their plays. He does write out plays every week for them of where to go, and he draws all that out. So maybe that's an attractive trait that people are. And I didn't even think about it. Now that we're looking in here, I see like why people like certain people. It's weird. It's like Munkin
A
because of
lot of it,
experience.
that's my issue is, like, I think we look at this a lot like quarterbacks, like, we get caught on a trait, like, he's so athletic or he's got a cannon arm, and we kind of bury the lead where none of that stuff is the most important thing to quarterback success. It's how smart are you? How hard do you study? How well do you lead and work with others? But we're just obsessed with arm strength and and, uh,
Speed.
and speed, yeah, athleticism, I guess you'd
Yeah.
call it. And, like, that's what I'm thinking about with this coaching search. It's like I said, I want to break it down. It's like experience, reputation, leadership. I guess all the stuff I described earlier, it's easier just to use those 3 words: leader, experience, reputation. And some of the guys you've named, some of that stuff is really good. What surprises me is how high some people are without the experience aspect, especially looking at the fact that these early head coaches that are being hired, the one thing they all generally have in common is experience. Harbaugh went to the Giants, Stefanski went to the Falcons, and the Titans just hired Robert Saleh.
Yep.
All 3 of them are experienced head coaches who are on another time. Meanwhile, the only experienced head coach that that's coming from outside to interview with us was
Munkin.
McDaniel, and he just
Yeah, he
declined
just
to come
declined. Yeah.
back, which
He just
means
said,
we have no one who's been a past head coach other than the guy that's already in the
oh
building
yeah,
under
Munkin's not
contract,
even coach.
who's
Yeah.
willing to even walk in here and interview, and it doesn't seem to bother anybody but
Do
me.
you think it's because the organization is not reaching out to those guys? Maybe they're not interested because they haven't asked. Maybe they don't want a McCarthy.
But
Maybe they don't
okay,
want a Flores.
that's a possibility. That doesn't bother you,
No,
that they are uninterested in anyone with experience?
no, because I'm not surprised by Andrew Berry's press. I came in believe this is why I think they're going to go with the young guy. Andrew Berry's press conference, everything speaks of I want a younger guy that's innovative. That's
So
why
then my
Swartz
question
still
would
sticking
be,
around and Munkin confuses me. But I think those can be the Jimmy Haslam's. Like we need to have these guys in play because I want somebody with experience, like you're saying.
yeah, and I just think, like, too, like, and I'm not opposed to somebody new. My biggest worry is not about somebody new. My biggest worry is I don't know if this is an organization or franchise who can support a new. It's like they're looking for this young guy with all these ideas, but no idea what the hell they're doing. But I would rate them as the worst organization on the market to bring that person in. They're not a good place to develop a young coach that I can tell. The
Yes.
one plus they have is I'm sure these stories by Mary Kay of, like, the reason they're so tight to Schwartz is because if he doesn't get the head coaching job, they want him to be the DC. And now they're saying they want to know who he can work with. So now it's almost like that pairing is good. If you bring in somebody like Udinski, Shieldhouse, or I don't know, Munkin and him are kind of around the same age probably in
Yeah.
experience. But if you bring in Udinski or Shieldhouse, I'm just thinking you probably are begging for Schwartz to stay because you need some veteran presence in the room. I'm just so worried about them bringing in somebody young when this organization has shown no ability to take a young guy and let them grow. At the quarterback position, at the coaching positions, even at the GM position, there's all this talk of, like, well, Barry was being kind of undercut by D. Podesta, and sometimes Barry was being undercut by Haslam. They just will not let a young guy come in and do his thing. They always have to
Okay.
overstep.
Do you think the undercutting happened because of the organization in which it was built? Because you had head coach and then GM, and they all had say. Now Jimmy switched it to where the GM's in charge, and the tree falls under. Then
The
then
GM
it
is still the
falls.
same age as when the head coach got hired. You're
No,
still
I'm
talking
just
about a
saying,
guy in
like the
his 30s.
structures, like everyone's going to have to report to Barry.
I
This
think
is what it
everybody's
seems
going to
like.
report to Haslam.
Oh yeah, everybody goes up, so everyone's going to obviously. Yeah, the owner is going to have some say, but I think Barry's going to have a bigger voice than he did when Kevin was
Maybe.
here in the beginning.
I don't know. Do you think Kevin had a big voice? I've never heard any reports that Kevin had a big voice.
I think he had like a voice of like, "Hey, I want this quarterback. Shut up, dude. We're getting this quarterback." So yeah, he had a voice. He had a voice, yes, but was it heard? I don't
I've just
think so.
mostly heard like most of the reports were that like Kevin just didn't have a lot of say in how things were done. Like they said, like Kevin like didn't want to let AVP go, but he had to.
He had
Like
to.
Kevin
He didn't
didn't
want
want to
anybody.
hire like that next group, but he had to. A
Yeah.
lot. Remember the report just came out this year that Kevin didn't really want to bring in Deshaun Watson, but he had to. So if all these reports are true, Kevin didn't really have a big say.
Yeah.
I'm almost wondering. That's my pause. Is I don't think Harbaugh never even contacted. Like there was no
No,
mutual interest.
there's a report out there that said that there was a 45-minute meeting, like where
Right, but he never
there
came in
was
here.
yeah, he
He was
never came
totally
in. It was
available to
just
come in.
he called 5 teams and the Browns were one of them. And after that 45-minute phone call, he's probably was
He
like,
never
"I'm not
came in
going
and
there.
interviewed.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not
So
going there.
he
I'm
didn't
going to
want to
New
come in
York."
here. Cliff Kingsbury, who was probably the biggest the only
I didn't
big
want him there. Yeah, I
coordinator
didn't
name
want
on the
him in
market to
either.
start. He didn't interview here. McDaniels is interviewed once and is stepping back. I guess my
Kingsbury
worry
interview
is
anywhere else?
I'm imagining like you would need I didn't really think the Harbaugh thing would fit because he's going to want a lot of say,
And you
and
see
they're
what
not
happened
going to
in
give it
New
to him.
York, right? Now the
Yeah,
freaking GM there is nervous because he's as
right.
equal as
And
the
that's
coach.
exactly what he wanted.
We
And I
said
knew
that.
Barry wasn't going to do that, but also Haslam's going to be like, uh, you know, you don't get to say, I get to say. So I knew
Yeah,
that was going to clash. My thought would be, do you think McDermott, if I were a betting man, I'd say McDermott probably never
Pittsburgh.
crosses at all.
Yeah. I
I
would
could
be
see him
shocked if
interviewing
McDermott
with
comes in here.
Pittsburgh and the Baltimore Ravens, but not here. And it seems like Browns fans are just okay with that. That
No, I
are
don't. I
the
don't.
good
The ones I
franchises.
talked to is like get McDermott, and I'm thinking like you don't know your owner, you don't know the structure. You think McDermott's coming here? Come on,
I
I would
mean, like
love for him.
the only positive I have is what we talked about, that story this week where McDermott was originally the person that Paul DePodesta wanted to bring
Yeah,
in. Jimmy Haslam said no. He went a different direction. He hired Hugh Jackson.
yeah, that's what
That
it was.
went
I made a
completely awry. And while that was going completely awry for 3 years, McDermott not only went to the Bills, showed some early success, then was part of drafting Josh Allen, and since then has gone on to be a perennial playoff team. My only thought with Haslam is, does he have a little bit of buyer's remorse where I had a chance to get that guy? He showed how successful he could be. I did not listen to the people I was supposed to be listening to, and I went another direction. The only reason I could see them having any call or connection is because he missed the first time. Now there's all these reports though that part of the reason he was let go is because he was uh, calling out the owner and the GM for bad draft picks, and it
They
makes
didn't
that
like
much
that.
more clear why he got let go. It's not just Buffalo lost a
Yeah.
game, a tight game. It's that he's calling the owner and the GM out, and they have more power than him. So out the door you go.
Yeah. Let's we gotta move on. Time is running out here. Player
Mhm.
awards this week. Carson and Graham received the player writers
The
rookie
Yeah, Football Writers of
football
America
writers.
or
That's what it
whatever.
is.
The Pro Football Writers of America do the all rookie team, which is basically the rookie version of the all pro team. Only one person makes it per position, and they put together the best rookie at every position, basically.
Yeah. Shout out
Carson
to
got it. Graham got it. Shockingly,
did they do offense?
Fannin just missed the mark, but this
Mhm.
was like the most incredible tight end class ever. Loveland worked out and really came
Three of
along
them.
at the end. Tyler Warren is awesome. And then along the way, there's a bunch of people that I don't think turned out as good as Fannin that were drafted in between those two and him, but they were also very impactful. There's like the most impactful tight end class ever. So it's not a shocker he didn't make it, but shout out to those guys for keeping Andrew Berry's
Yeah.
job.
Keeping a job. Yeah. Well, I'll also we'll end it with this. Kevin has regained control in Atlanta. He is now looking for the GM. That speaks of how much he was desired because he was the first one signed as a coach,
Mhm.
even though no one said he would be. And now he also got his power back. So he gets to pick the GM that he wants to work with. and we'll see how that works out.
I wonder how many people are going to start watching all the Falcons games now just to see how this works out.
He's going to be, I think he might be pretty well that first year. Kyle Pitts is going to benefit well.
I think this is worth bringing up, though, too. So he is retaining their defensive coordinator there. He likes him. He interviewed him. The owner urged him to interview him first to see if they get along, and they did. The report came out today from SI that Bill Callahan, Coach Callahan, will be coming to coach the offensive line and be the run game coordinator. And it's most likely Tommy Reese is going to be retained as his offensive coordinator, which means his main staff outside of special teams would be hired if those reports are true.
We'll see. Stay tuned because we will have it all on our podcast, on our websites, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. We'll have it and we'll break it as soon as we get it. So give us a follow on all the social media platforms that you have because we're probably on there. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the feedback. Most importantly, thank you, J.I.M.B.O, from the Men Until podcast for hopping on and talking Jaguars and Udinski with us. We'll see you next week where we hopefully can have a head coach. If not, I don't know. We'll probably talk about more head coaching stuff.
Doubtful.
Until next time, like always, go Browns.
Go Browns.